The City Below the Cloud by T.S. Galindo. Read by the author. Chapter 6. The Confrontation. "Ah! I thought you said you got a new one," Set yelled over the echoing sound of the task coordinator alert. It woke them up just after the next cycle thunder. "I did. I don't know what's going on. Where is it?" Kalan tried to see where the device was whenever the strobing light came on, while she crawled around grasping with her hands. She found it and turned it off. She investigated the task coordinator while Set berated her for interrupting her sleep. "If this is a new one, then why'd you set another alert? These shocks are not good for me, you know. I could wind up like—" She trailed off, remembering she hadn't told Kalan about Canner, or what happened. Kalan barely heard her. She found that same task again. 575th floor. But I know I didn't accept it. What's going on? I couldn't have grabbed the same coordinator. I know I didn't. Her brain caught up with what she heard, pulling her attention from the device. She turned and said, "Wait, what? Wind up like who? Did something happen?" "No, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Hey, did you know a tooth is worth a whole megajoule? Crazy, right? Anyway, I'm going back to sleep. Make sure that thing doesn't go off again, or I'll turn it into a prosthetic eye for you," Set said hurriedly while pulling the tarp over her and turning toward the wall. "No, something happened, I can tell. Wait, a megajoule? Really?" "Yeah, I mean, that's what I heard. Why, thinking of reclamating your teeth?" She chuckled, relieved her deflection succeeded. "That's why he wanted the tooth. He did rip me off. Well, I guess I didn't need it, and I got what I wanted. Not like I'll ever find him again anyway." Set was pretending to sleep, and Kalan decided to let her. Kalan's own sleep was unrewarding again. "I feel like I haven't slept in 3 cycles. I'm not tired, just restless. These dreamless sleeps are strange. Everything's just black and still. So still. Like I'm not even breathing. What is happening to me?" She got ready and made her way through the building to the stairwell. This one was lit similar to the last, with cascading lights, but instead of one long strand hanging from the ceiling, the lights were stuck to the wall, circling the inner screw. She leaned against a wall on a landing above a group of older kids messing around. They passed an air can to each other and laughed as they threw things down the center of the stairwell, watching them fall. She closed her eyes for a minute and breathed in the chalky, acidic air, letting the echoing sounds of the stairs calm her back to normalcy. Afterward, she took out the task coordinator and looked for a job. It's gone again. Was it really there, or am I going crazy? 575th floor? Sounds crazy. How high would that be? You'd be in the cloud. Doesn't matter. It's gone. What else is there? Here's one. It's pretty high paying. A lot of scrubbers will be looking to get to it first, but it's close. I can get it if I hurry. She hung the coordinator on her harness and jogged down the steps past the kids. The drumming of heavy rainfall aggressively pummeling the ground reverberated through the walls as she reached the last set of stairs. She pulled on her mask and hood in preparation while she descended. Now we'll test out how waterproof the new suit is. It's coming down hard. The streets were packed with people coming up from the mines, wading through the accumulating water in the streets. She fought her way through them, focusing on getting to the job before anyone else. She didn't like being rough, but she was also fighting her own anxiety about recent events. She needed the distraction. By cutting through several buildings, she avoided the worst of the crowds and shortened her journey. She hoped there was enough to get her there before the other scrubbers. When she emerged onto the street again, the rain had subsided. The job was on the next street, which she could see was almost empty. She burst through the last of the pedestrians toward her goal and saw the empty terminal. Made it. Then she noticed someone she recognized in front of her. Old Jim, the clothing seller. He saw her and his face twisted into a scowl. He dropped the tarp he was dragging behind him and walked over to her, shouting, "Hey, you! No one cheats me! Give me my suit back!" She stopped and called back, "I cheated you. You cheated me. I found out that tooth was worth a whole megajoule." "That tooth wasn't worth a millijoule. It must have been some kind of fake. Give me my suit." fake? My tooth? What does that mean? Her head began to swim again. She stepped back to get a better footing to avoid collapsing. Old Jim grabbed her by the collar and tried to wrestle the harness off her. Kalan, jostled out of her shock, pushed him off and ran down the street. She turned down an alley, right into a fallen walkway blocking her path. She turned around to see old Jim brandishing a stun baton, blocking her escape. There's nowhere left to run. Give me my suit back and I won't stun you, stupid. His previously jovial tone came out gruff and dangerous. Look, I don't know what happened. It couldn't have been a fake tooth. Old Jim slowly moved closer. How do you know that, eh? Where'd you get it? It was mine. It fell out last cycle, just before I gave it to you. You expect me to believe that? Never mind, give me my suit. Old Jim rushed forward and jammed the stun baton into her stomach. Nothing. She flinched from the blow and the anticipation, but felt nothing. They both heard the crackle of electricity arcing between the electrodes, but it wasn't conducting through her like it should. Taking advantage of the confusion, she jammed her own baton into his shoulder. There was a loud pop, and the old man collapsed against the wall, convulsing. She ran without looking back, through buildings, upstairs, over walkways, turning away whenever she saw crowds of people that would slow her down. She wanted to get far away from him, from what he said. She kept running. When she finally stopped, she collapsed against the railing of a wide walkway and sat down to catch her breath. The tooth was fake. The tooth was fake. The one I pulled from my mouth. How? What does that mean? It means he was lying, that's what it means. It couldn't have been fake. I took it out myself. It's the only thing that makes sense. He scammed me when he took it, and he was trying to scam me again. What about the stun baton, though? It didn't do anything to me. How? Maybe the suit's insulated? Never heard of an insulated scrub suit, but that has to be it. She looked around, confused. The walls were bare, great smooth monoliths rising into the cloud. Where am I? When did I leave the mushroom district? She grabbed the task coordinator and looked at it. Of course, job's gone. Someone else must have grabbed it while I was running through the streets like a monkey on fire. Here's one. Not worth much, so it should still be there by the time I get to it. Even if it does, it'll point me back to the mushroom district. She picked herself up and started back. The walk back into the mushroom district reminded her why she liked it. The bland, empty walls outside were like a desert, and the district a lush forest full of life. Even if that life could kill her, she liked being surrounded by it. She almost felt a connection to it. She made it to the terminal without incident, got her tools out of it, and made her way to the job site. The streets were unusually vacant, and when she came to the spot to set up the platform, it felt different to her. She leaned the scrub brush against the wall and got ready to attach the platform. It's the signs. They're gone. The only light is coming from me. Even the mushroom caps are dark. Never seen that before. She paused to look around, but couldn't see more than a meter in any direction. Never realized how dark it is without the signs. She pushed her feelings aside and grabbed the platform, lifting it up to attach to the wall. Suddenly, she was shoved from behind. She collapsed on top of the platform and screamed. As she fumbled for her stun baton, she looked around in the thick, dark air for her attacker. She saw the creep turn down an alley carrying her scrub brush. Something burst inside of her, and her anxiety ignited and flared into angry frustration. Nothing's gone right since this creep started following me. On top of that, I need that scrub brush. Even if I finish the job without it, the terminal won't give me any charge unless I return it. She grabbed her stun baton and ran down the alley. She turned the corner just in time to see a door close. She grabbed the handle. The door swung toward her, knocking hard against her light harness. It flickered for a second as she rushed through the door into an unlit room with a foul odor. The lights from the harness showed the creep standing in front of her just before it died, and the door shut, leaving them in complete darkness. She listened for the creep's breathing, but she couldn't hear it. She activated her stun baton, using the arcing electricity to see. The crackling light revealed who'd been ruining her life. Standing in front of her was what looked like a 2.125 meter tall human with no face. There was just a blank, head-shaped mound sitting on top of broad shoulders. Kalan screamed in terror and fell backward, dropping the stun baton and landing on her back on the cold concrete. A spotlight turned on beside her. Her previous terror was forgotten in an instant. She scrambled away from what she saw, her mouth wide, shuddering in fear. She was staring at her own dead body, cycles old, with a cluster of mushrooms exploding from its eye socket. Its other eye was open, staring into nothing, its slackened, gaping mouth resting on the ground, creating a grotesque expression, frozen from what must have been a horrifying last moment. Kalan blacked out.